Here's Rob Williams, the national sports editor of the Daily Hive and its Offside Sports Vertical. Rob, the hockey guy on Twitter. How are you, sir?
Doing great. We did it. We got through another season of Vancouver Canucks hockey, and here we are.
When you think back on this season, Rob, what will you remember, or is there really only one thing that is going to stick out from this season?
The drama, PD and Miller. We've never really seen anything like it in Canucks history. Hopefully, we don't see anything like it ever again. Two star players that were absolutely at the top of their game, at least midway through last season. A couple of all stars, and they just couldn't get along, and it went so far off the rails so quickly. I think that's going to be what this season is remembered for. If that doesn't happen, they're probably a playoff team.
Yep. Not much memorable from the game last night in terms of the Canucks' performance, but a couple of things I want to note around the game. First of all, we were talking. We were both a little surprised there wasn't more from the crowd for Brock Boeser last night.
Yeah, as was I. I thought that they could have. Yeah, I was expecting something. I mean, I think there was just nothing in the game. I know they showed Boeser on the screen a couple times, and there was a bit of an ovation, or not an ovation, but like a rise in the crowd when they showed him early in the game. But yeah, like the Canucks, it's not one of those things where the game presentation team can say like, "Thank you, Brock, for what's likely your last game." Like they can't do that, so it's really up to the crowd to do it organically. I haven't mentioned this all year, like not since the right at the beginning of the year. The Canucks didn't make room for the Larshiders this season. That would have been tailor made for the Larshiders. The Larshiders are there. There's a beautiful Brock chant. All the talk will be about how great the crowd was, and what a nice moment it was for Boeser. If you remember, they brought Connor Garland virtually to tears at the end of last season when he was on the ice. Maybe that helps explain why. I mean, the crowd can do it without them in the building, but that struck me as one of those where maybe you're missing an element. Maybe that was one moment where you're like, okay, yeah, you're missing something there.
Yeah, cheer leaders, if you will. Two separate words there. You have always been on team be careful what you wish for with Brock, Rob. You were skeptical that trading him was the right move. You were skeptical that letting him walk in free agency is the right move. Now that we have the full 82 games of evidence, it was 25, 25, 50, and 75 for Brock, a minus 25, which was team worst on the plus-minus, playing 18-plus minutes a night. Where are you now in terms of whether they should bring Brock back?
I mean, I think I'm on my headspace is that I've just like, it's so obvious that they're not bringing him back. So I'm not even thinking like, should they bring him back anymore? Because they're just clearly not going to. Should they though? Like should they have taken a completely different path? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. If you look at the list of UFAs this summer, like how many of them are better fits as scoring wingers than Brock Boeser? Like Mitch Marner, yes, but like, are you getting Mitch Marner? Like you have to get the guy, right? You can want the guy, but you got to get the guy. Can you get him? I think that's going to be a really hard guy to get. I think they're going to make a run to get Nick Ehlers from Winnipeg. That would be the guy I would expect them to go after. Nick Ehlers is 25 goal scorer. Like he's good. He's a nice player. Brings more speed, brings different element. But you're not getting much younger. You're not getting younger. You're not getting necessarily more goals. As poor a season as Boeser had, and I don't think he had a good season, he's still one of your top goal scorers. So how do you replace that goal scoring? Then you say, okay, well, you're going to do it via trade. Well, okay, are you like, how many futures can they afford to give up at this point? Like, are they giving away their first round pick, or I've heard people talk about trading one of their good young defensemen like Wielander or Elias Pettersson, I mean, I think that would be really foolish to do. Um, so yeah, I just show me the. I guess that's the thing. It's like show me the path to how they're going to improve this team without Boeser. At the very least, I think they shouldn't have closed the book on it so quick. Like they should be in negotiations and try to get him to a number and try to make it fit. Especially with a guy that you know likes it here, you should be able to do some convincing to get him here at not paying like the sky high July 1st prices to get him.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And the getting of the free agents could be quite difficult this offseason because I don't think players look at the Vancouver Canucks as a contender right now. It is still a most desirable city, but it's also not exactly your cheapest tax jurisdiction, and that's become meaningful to NHL players, as we've been able to note. Okay, so it wasn't the big, full-throated send-off we expected for Boeser, but how about the scene for Patty O'Neill?
Yeah, who would have thought that Patty O'Neill is the one that gets the big ovation? But again, like game presentation was able to cue it up with a I thought a really nice a really nice montage video, and and we know how much trainers mean to the players, and to see the kind of the reaction from Canucks players was pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, there's not many, like how many guys have been around the Canucks longer than Pat O'Neill? So yeah, that was a really cool moment to give a big. Big. How many buildings in the NHL have given a standing ovation, 18,000 strong, for their equipment manager? Like only in Vancouver, right?
Mm-hmm. And he wins Unsung Hero, Rob. We were all looking in the wrong direction for Unsung Hero, as it turns out.
Okay, they gave away two unsung heroes. I got a problem with this. They got they gave it to Kiefer Sherwood, right? And then they also sent out a little thing saying that Pat O'Neill was the unsung hero. I don't know if they need a trainer award going forward or what, but no, should have been Tyler Myers. I thought it was going to be Sherwood, but it should have been Tyler Myers. But I did think it was cool that I was somewhat uneasy. I was like, are they going to just give most exciting player to the guy that deserves it, which was Quinn Hughes, or are they going to look in another direction, give it to Connor Garland or somebody else like that? But no, it was Quinn Hughes. Interestingly enough, first defenseman in Canucks history to win most exciting player.
Well, we know the history of defensemen in this market before he arrived on the spot. First chance to talk to you since Alvina allowed that they would like Elias to stay back in Vancouver and train under their watchful eye this summer. What do you make of that? And do you think this is kind of like a test of Elias? Say yes, and you're in the good graces. Say no, and maybe we are exploring a trade for you again by the draft.
I thought it was interesting he said it publicly, because this really kind of lays down the gauntlet, right? Like, the year-end availability. Like, is somebody going to ask him, "Hey, Elias, what are your summer plans? Are you sticking around or are you leaving?" Like, it's like he kind of has laid it out as like if Pettersson goes back to Sweden for all the summer, which, to be fair, like most players go back to their hometowns or go back to their off-season homes in the off-season. It is quite an ask, I would say, to say like spend your entire summer in Vancouver. I think you can say like, hey, implement this workout regimen, or come back into town a little bit earlier than you have in the past. I think those are maybe reasonable asks, but yeah, it seems like quite an ask to say like spend your summer in Vancouver. And then of course, I saw people point this out. Where is he going to practice? There is no practice facility. The ice is out of Rogers Arena at that time. I'm sure they can afford ice at one of the few rinks that keeps ice throughout the summer. I mean, you could go to 8 rinks, I suppose. But yeah, and now the thing I thought of pretty quick though was like, what a better place for Pettersson to be than Vancouver this summer is. First of all, I think he needs to get away from Vancouver, like just for his mental health, just to like clear his head.
He got booed a little last night, Rob. There was a smattering of boos when they introduced him and Myers.
I heard people say boos. I didn't hear boos. It was more of like, like it's like who's like they're kind of surprised to see him. I didn't necessarily hear the boos from where I was sitting, but but I think the best place for Pettersson to go hang out with the Hughes brothers in Michigan. Wouldn't that be the perfect spot for him? I mean, those guys seem to know how to train in the off season. Surround him with just really serious hockey people you know, and get away from Vancouver at the same time. I think that would be a great way to do it. And I think that's what the Canucks are looking for in terms of what PD does this summer is take a page out of Quinn Hughes's book. Remember, like Hughes a couple summers ago decided I need to be a better goal scorer, and he came back and now he's a goal scorer. Like one summer, that was pretty impressive work. And Hughes strikes me as a guy that goes, okay, what do I need to work on this summer? Okay, I'm going to work at it and be better when I come back into training camp. And that's what they need Pettersson to do as well.
On to the offseason, Rob. Our Surrey Mitsubishi poll question today asking what should the Canucks' top offseason priority be, whether it's extending Tocchet, the top two center, character, leadership, something else. You tell me, what should their top offseason priority be?
Yeah, I mean, I first went to solidifying the center position, solidifying their forwards, but the Tocchet one's got to be the tap in, right? Like that they can't just let it's one thing if you didn't want Tocchet back to let him to get rid of him, but if he chooses to leave you, that is such a bad look. Like like the whole league is going to see that. Quinn Hughes wants him back. So I kind of think like that's the minimum when if you lose Tocchet at this point, given that you want him back, what does that say about your organization? Were you just too cheap to buck up for what he wanted, or what is the issue here? So I think that will raise a ton of questions if Tocchet leaves. I expect he'll be back. Like I would be surprised if he does leave. I think they'll find a way to get him signed here. But given that I think Tocchet will be back, you've got to fix your forwards now. I think you're feeling pretty good about your defense, which is ironic given the way the season started. I think you've ended the season feeling pretty good about your defense. If Thatcher Demko can return to health, you feel good in goal. You might have the best goalie tandem in the league at that point. But and your third and fourth lines, they got a lot of third and fourth liners. I think they're okay there.
Yeah.
But that top six is a real mess right now. They've got how many top six forwards are they searching for right now? 3, 4?
2
6?
for sure. Yeah, I mean 2 for sure. Right, with about $13 million in cap space, and that's not including Pius Suter if you want to bring him back. That's not including Derek Forbort if you want to bring him back. Anyways, my man, plenty of opportunity to dissect what's going to happen here in the offseason. And point forward, we will continue to do so weekly. Rob, thanks for this. Catch up next Thursday.
No shortage of topics to talk about.
No.
Thank you.